What show stayed good from start to finish? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Every last one is a banger. Black Adder. Better Off, Ted. Amazingly funny, poorly marketed and pushed to the fringes. It's the show I wish would have kept going even more than Gasp Firefly. Diversity. Good for us. Avatar: The Last Airbender. The nadir of this show was season 1 episode 11, and they made fun of it better than we ever could. Also, the recap episode may be the best episode in the entire series. But guys, it's a recap episode. You're supposed to be lazy. Use lots of flashbacks, maybe make it a musical for no particular reason. Instead, we get the characters watching an in-universe parody of themselves, which is somehow a fourth wall-breaking joke, emphasizes everyone's character arcs, highlights their current strengths and weaknesses, expands the world building, humanizes the enemy, is beautifully animated, and sets the stage for the finale. Pun intended, obviously. It's like they heard someone say good recaps are impossible, and they said, oh yeah, watch this. That kid telling Zuko his cosplay was good, but that the scar was on the wrong side. Flarebag. 2 absolutely perfect seasons. I look like a pencil. Hot Priest looking at the camera is a top 10 television moment of all time. Band of Brothers. Generation Kill is pretty good too emo. It follows Marines during the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Loved all of Peep Show. Gallivant, the fact that it got cancelled was a tragedy. 6 Feet Under. In fact, the last episode was, hands down, the best last episode of any series I've ever seen and will probably ever see. Derry Girls. Guy cried so hard during the last episode. Definitely the best last episode of any series. The In-Betweeners. Ook. My dad's not a Bendaya. Bus Wankers. The series was perfect. And the first movie was also great. But the second movie kinda ruined it, and was not on the same level of the rest. The second movie was a bit shit, but they absolutely nailed the kid from the home counties going traveling stereotype. They were so obnoxious, but so true. Malcolm in the Middle. I started watching that show again, and it's as funny now as it was when it first aired. The Komodo 3000 still kills me every time. The box says 2 days. Fucking love this show, have watched it 2 or 3 times and currently re-watching it. This scene is hands down the best. If I'm trying to get someone to watch the show, this is the scene. Also, Hell changing the light bulb in the kitchen scene. The show definitely holds up, and I don't think will ever die. Most average Joe Americans can relate to this show in some capacity. Also note that I'm 30. Also note that I'm 31-year-old. I've realized Lois is the GOAT. This is one of those shows that I caught on TV, here and there as a teenager, when it first came out, but I never really cared about it. I've been binging it with my Jeef and nephew lately, and we can't stop watching it. Really missed out back in the day. The Restock Pack episode is probably my favorite moment of television. Hal's Speedwalking episode 2. Him in that suit and helmet is forever imprinted into my brain. Bryan Cranston learned to skate just for that episode, and there were only 2 parts where they used a stunt double. We said, listen, we're going to do this thing where you do roller disco. And Bryan said, how much time do I have? I said, a couple weeks. He said, okay. And he just basically practiced roller skating every free second that he had off the show and became an incredibly proficient roller. Skater very quickly and in time for the shoot, says Boomer, who won an Emmy for the Malcolm pilot. I asked him, how many hours did you spend? And he said, hundreds. I've been watching it recently, and I'm struck by how grimy it is. A lot of shows purport to show people on low salaries, but that show rarely commits. Sweat, dirt, bugs, the lot. The locations like shops, arcades and gyms do not look glamorous. They are used garish and claustrophobic. A lot of shows, especially American ones, function as adverts and want to make the items and places the characters go look enticing. There are people on the production company payroll who oversee this process and make sure that companies will keep paying big money to get their stuff put in there. Someone who made Malcolm in the Middle fought tooth and nail to make sure that no sane marketing strategist wanted their product anywhere near the Wilkerson. There is also an episode where Hal and Lois can't have sex for a few weeks, and they turn their energy into making the house immaculate. Then, once they can have sex again, it all falls apart. Malcolm in the Middle deserves more recognition. I only caught it in syndication, but it's solid. It's not just how good the humor is, it's the whole context of the show. It changed sitcoms. When it came out, having a comedy show with no laugh track was almost unheard of, and now it's the standard. And the family lived in a house that actually looked like people lived in it. It's one of the first things I noticed about the show. Gravity Falls. Even the worst episode, the Cupid one, had wonderful redeeming qualities. Itest kids. That entire sequence with the balloon is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a kids show. It's punishment for our terrible taste in everything. Mummy is the floating head going to eat us. Yes, Charlie, yes he will. My kids loved Guff, but my daughter was disappointed with only 2 seasons. I told her sometimes the story is told and doesn't need to be dragged out. It's a perfect example of this, and I think made her appreciate it a little bit more. And it actually dealt with relatable problems and didn't shy away from serious issues in a comedy show. Chernobyl. 1-season shows are usually amazing. Mindhunter. It sucks that there won't be a 3rd season. Sad, we never saw more from Bilko. Seemed like they were gearing towards a big ending with him. The point, as far as I can tell, is to show them developing and successfully employing serial killer profiles against the backdrop of Butchk, who doesn't match the profile. Yeah, the point isn't to catch him, but to use him as a foil, showing the incompleteness of what they're building. Thus, the narrative can end properly in a future season, but Beak remains out there nonetheless. It crowd 118 quadrillion 999 trillion 881 billion 999 billion 119,725 3. Did you see that ludicrous display last night? The bomb robot just crashed. Have you tried switching it off and on again? Just doing it. What operating system are you using? Vista, we're going to die. Free the dare. Leg disabled. A fire at a sea parks. Twilight Zone. The Wire. I'll Die on Season 2 is Amazing Hill. Yeah. In the first scene of episode 1, Snot Boogie's friend explicitly states David Simon's ambitions with the words, "This is America." Union stevedores struggling to make a decent living, like their fathers did, is a quintessentially American story, and one that needed to be told for the audience to really understand the city of Baltimore. Institutional dysfunction sums up everything about The Wire. I'll join you. Frank Zabotka was an awesome character, hugely flawed, doing all the wrong things for a good reason. Better Call Saul. I literally just finished Breaking Bad. I'm excited to start Better Call Saul. Yeah, in the first scene of episode 1, Snot Boogie's friend explicitly states David Simon's ambitions with the words, "This is America." Union stevedores struggling to make a decent living, like their fathers did, is a quintessentially American story, and one that needed to be told for the audience to really understand the city of Baltimore. MASH the show had many significant cast changes and additions, and fluctuated in tone over time, as well as within seasons. Nevertheless, it remained a high-quality, very watchable show. Not easy and rare. Loved it until the end. Hard disagree. MASH got noticeably better season after season. I gasped, then smiled. I like your style. Cowboy Bebop. 6 feet under excellent from start to finish, including the amazing final episode everyone's waiting. Black Sails, amazing show that sticks the landing. Since I have not seen it mentioned, justified. The Americans, freaks and geeks. Deadwood, wood. Fraggle, rock. Sopranos. Futurama. Stupid anti-pimping laws. Bender, honey, we love you. Shut up, baby. I know it. Edit. Fucked up the second quote. Flareback. I wish I could watch it for the first time again. When the priest noticed her breaking the fourth wall, I lost my mind on Fayu. Breaking Bad. I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it, and I was alive. Well written with catering to detail. Excellent piece of work. Mob Psycho. The Last Kingdom. I started it begrudgingly because I couldn't find anything else to watch. By the last episode, I would have followed Uhtred anywhere. Uhtred, son of Uhtred.